Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'd like to start the 2018, October 2018, the Auditor General's report. The 2017 report referred to the capital plan 2017-18 from the budget we see every spring. So in that we have a list in the capital plan 2017 to 2020 of unfunded projects. Now that is the list that replaced the promised infrastructure sunshine list, which this government ran on and originally promised back in 2015 and then quickly abandoned. I guess what I'm curious about is all of the list that is alphabetical, that unfunded capital projects list. Is there a plan for each one of those projects to receive funding and move forward?
What I can speak to is projects on the unfunded capital project list have been evaluated against the capital project criteria, and as a result of that, some of the projects actually did receive funding, so they moved from the unfunded to the funded list. A total of 20 projects of the 119 projects from the 2017 unfunded capital projects list published in Budget 2017 did receive funding. The 20 projects that received funding were the Battle River Regional Division number 31 School, Black Gold Regional Division School, Calgary Ring Road Southeast Stony Trail Medium Lane Widening, the Calgary Roman Catholic Separate School, the Calgary Youth Offenders Center.
Sorry, with respect, would you mind just perhaps tabling the full list?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I'm quite short on time. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
The projects, just quickly, the projects change. Some projects get added to the list, to the unfunded. Some get dropped without being funded. Is that right?
Yes, that is true. And perhaps, Brandy, do you have anything to add to that?
I would just say that our
they operate it.
they do that for you. Okay, the process with respect to the submissions that come in and that land up on the unfunded list go through a ministry prioritization process before they make their way onto that list, and so we look to our partner ministries to prioritize against the capital plan criteria.
Is there a second tier list? So of the ones that get dropped off, are they gone forever, or are they perhaps going to come back someday? Is there a list of things that didn't even make the unfunded list? Is it like a second tier English soccer kind of thing where you?
There isn't a second tier list. Ministries, as I said, prioritize their projects and put forward things that do get considered by Minister Capital Committee. Those that don't get funded would land up on that list. And as ministry priorities change, you could see that projects do in fact come off of the unfunded list and don't get funding because they may no longer be a priority.
Is it any better than it was before? I mean, I guess I look at this list and it's a list, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of transparency as to how things get on that list or where things that aren't on that list might be. And that's something I've heard from a lot of my constituents and Albertans. They don't feel like this process is actually much better than what we had before.
So I would say that the criteria on which all projects are evaluated is publicly available, and ministries do use that to assess the priority of relative projects. There are finite dollars available and not everything can be funded, and so lots of considerations are taking into account as you put the capital plan together. And I think that I would suggest folks do need to look at that capital plan criteria to see how ministries are prioritizing projects.
So I've seen the words. Is there a quantifiable number? Is there a weighting matrix? That's how I did it back in the private sector. We would create must have, nice to have, etc. Have a number, weight it, come up with a number at the end. Is there such a number? And if so, can you table it?
So, for instance, the Department of Education looks at they do an analysis in terms of where the biggest need is for schools in the province of Alberta. So they probably take into consideration a lot of.
Sorry, I have 5 seconds. Is it qualitative or quantitative? Is there a number?
I'll have to check with them, and I can get back to you on that.
If there is, if you could table that, I'd appreciate that, and not just education, but health and everything else as well. Thank you. I would like, please, for you to table any scorecards or quantitative analyses that determine the capital plan priority list and the unfunded list, please. Blank scorecards or templates, I'd like you please to table any results or completed scorecards that inform the 2017 to 2020 capital plan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Mr. Pan.